Liberal Democrat spokesperson. Steve Darling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I would like to particularly associate myself to the speech just made by the member for York Central, and the Liberal Democrats will be supporting the Reisman amendment that is now under debate. Over the last few weeks, we have had the Green Paper under debate, and it has been disturbing to me in the extreme some of the comments coming from the Labour High Command around noises off, around some of the comments from Labour backbenchers. People who really should know better within the leadership of the Labour Party describing PIP as pocket money for people is utterly shameful. It is equally shameful the way that this bill is being dashed through. It decreases the credibility of ministers the way that this bill is being dashed through, because if it is fine, then it should have appropriate levels of scrutiny. But we all know that rushed bills are poor bills, and there is that law of unintended consequences that will come to haunt this government if this bill goes through. It's already been alluded to, this two-tier approach to this system is wrong, and the Liberal Democrats have grave concerns that this is un-British. It's unjust, and it is not the way of our world. We've heard from the Minister saying, oh, it's been done before, it's done before, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. It is almost Orwellian that we will be having a system where in our law we say that all disabled people are equal, but some are more equal than others. And also, I'm happy to give way.
The Liberal Democratic Conservative Coalition establishing PIP and abolishing disability living allowance, which of course left, I think the Leader of the Opposition's example is someone with Parkinson's. Someone with Parkinson's over 65 could be on DLA, could be on PIP, and could be on attendance allowance. Is he saying he regrets that decision, or that should not exist?
I'd like to thank the member for his contribution. It's always good value. May I also reflect to the Chamber the fact that what message does this send to disabled children? The fact that what we will be saying to those who have gone down the path of their disability degenerating to the extent that they can claim PIP will be over the line, but those youngsters who know they've got a degenerative condition can look forward to no PIP with the proposals that are before us. Also, I would reflect to the Chamber that PIP is often a passport to other levels of support, whether that is blue badges or whether it is rail cards, which gives people the opportunity of getting out and living their best lives. But perhaps the most important passport benefit that you get from this is carers allowance. We have grave concerns of the impact this will have on those families, particularly in the future where they will no longer benefit from carers allowance, which will be robbing those families of around up to £12,000 a year. Don't get me wrong, we as Liberal Democrats recognise that the benefit system is broken and does need resolving, but it needs that, as we had in our manifesto, co-design with disabled groups and carers groups to make sure that we get it right for our people. Happy to give way to the...
The honourable member for giving way. The Secretary of State today has made the claim that she is listening. Would the honourable member agree with me that she's certainly not listening to many of her backbenchers, but also to the 86 disability charities who have said this will harm disabled people? We all know that reform is needed, but today when we talk about reform, there's absolutely no mention of the fraud that goes on within the system that's costing billions to our country. So surely we should start with that and not impact and affect the most vulnerable in our society, and therefore we will be voting against this bill today for that reason.
Thank you. and I concur most with what the member was stating there. But I'd go back to the root causes of some of the challenges of why some people aren't in work, and it goes back to my surgery in Torbay, where people have come along and said, I've got this long-term illness, but I can't be fixed by the NHS, that it's been broken. And until we've sorted our National Health Service and the social care system out, people will be trapped with long-term ill health. So that needs resolving as a matter of urgency. I'd also highlight, and I've banged on about this, and whilst we acknowledge PIP is not there for, it isn't an out-of-work benefit, it helps people live what many of us would take for granted as their lives. But the reality is the Access to Work scheme is broken massively, and that needs resolving. And whilst there are warm words, happy to give way.
I thank the honourable gentleman for giving way. I would just like to remind the honourable gentleman that the Access to Work scheme may well be broken. There is measures in this bill and in the Green Paper of Pathways to Work which specifically talks about how we should improve that access to work for our constituents, many of whom rely on that as a way of them becoming a fully able person to be able to work themselves. So if the honourable gentleman votes against this bill, the risk is that goes too.
Thank you, and I would thank my honourable colleague for their comment, but I would say the Access to Work system has been here for years and it continues to be broken. It could be easily fixed by the government, but they're choosing not to roll their sleeves up and actually engage with sorting it now, because I've had constituents contact me who've almost lost their jobs because of what is going on here and now. So also we need to see the carers allowance review coming to answer. So there are lots of the jigsaw that needs to be in place before we push forward with these proposals. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I would highlight that it is a broken system. We shouldn't be pushing forward with these proposals until we've heard from that Tim's review. We should not be abandoning some of the most vulnerable in our society. Liberal Democrats will be voting with the reasoned amendment. If that is lost, we will vote against the second amendment. But you do not help those who are already broken by breaking a system. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair of the Select Committee, Debbie Abrahams. Thank you so much, Madam Deputy Speaker.